as open, where there are more than this that God hates. But let's start with this comprehensive list. And folks, we have to acknowledge also that sometimes, those sins are interconnected. And if you get rid of one of these sins, some of the rest will be also taken away because they are connected. So, well, if people would love God, then of course they don't need to worry so much about keeping the Sabbath, because they will keep the Sabbath. They will not worry so much about taking God's name in vain, because they anyway would not take God's name in vain. And they will not worship idols, and they will not worship other pagan gods. So do you see how these sins are interconnected? And once you take one out of the list, well, many of those will be also dragged away. Now, let's get into the physician's office now and have the exam that I promised you. We're going to have this physical today. The first thing that is going to be examined is, look at it, verse 16. It's going to be examined our vision. Our eyes are going to be examined. Well, every time when I go for an eye exam, well, my doctors told me, well, you have either low vision, or blurry vision, or dark vision. But I never heard my doctor say that I have a proud look or a haughty eyes. No, I never heard that. But look what here, the divine physician says that this is the first thing on the list that God hates the most is this type of vision, is a haughty eyes, or a proud look, or an arrogant vision or look. What does it mean? What is this look all about? What is this disease all about? Well, this type of illness is when people look down. When they feel that they are somewhere up and they look down to others. When people see themselves, oh, I'm so good, I'm so well, I'm doing, spiritually speaking, I'm doing so well. Look at these guys. Well, God says that He hates this type of look. When we consider ourselves superior than others, when we consider us better than others, because, friends, we have to acknowledge this. From God's perspective, we all are sinners. And in any ways, we are not better than those who are on the streets, better than the prostitutes, better than the drug dealers, better than the murderers. We all are sinners, and we all deserve the same punishment, and we all need to take the same treatment to be healed. There is no superiority in us because we come to church every Sabbath, because we pay tithes and offerings, and because we call ourselves Christian. No, we all are sinners, and we have to acknowledge how broke we are, how damaged we are. To acknowledge our condition. So God hates this type of condition when people see themselves better than others. You remember the story that is mentioned in Luke chapter 18, when there was a good guy, a Christian guy, a Pharisee who came to the temple to worship God. He was so faithful in everything that he did. He was praying 3 times a day. He was bringing offering to the temple. He was doing a lot of rituals, and he was keeping so many things, more than 10 commandments, like 500 commandments. And he said, well, in his prayer, he said, I thank God that I'm not even like that guy, the tax collector, who was blessed by God, who was made righteous, whose prayer was listened by God on that day. The tax collector who said, Lord, have mercy on me, the sinner. Not the one who looked down, not the one with those arrogant eyes, with a pride look. Well, friends, this is so dangerous. So dangerous to have that attitude. Because having that attitude, you don't need God. Say, I am so good enough. I do all these things on my own. I am so good. I'm so powerful. I can take care of myself. Well, this illness reminds me about one of the star angels in heaven who said, I am better than the others. I am so beautiful. I am so great. I am even like God, and I can be like Him. I could sit on His throne. Do you see, friends, where this problem leads us? Leads us right there where the cause of sin is. This is what Lucifer did. This is what he has. This proud look, this haughty eyes. And when we have this type of illness, well, the reality is disturbed. We don't really know who we are. We think that we are somebody, and in reality we are not. This is not the message that the church in Laodicea received from God. You think you are rich, but you don't know that in reality you are poor. You think that you have a good vision, but in reality you are blind, naked, poor. This is your condition. And because of your pride, because of the way you look at yourself, you don't see the reality. And when you don't see the reality, it's one of the most dangerous things in the world. Because if you don't see that you are sick, why would you need treatment? If you go to the doctor and say, well, I don't have any problem, and the doctor tries to convince you, no, you have something here, look here, something is wrong with you, and you say, no, it's not, because I know who I am. I am such a healthy person. My friend, you will die in that condition if you don't accept your condition. And we have to acknowledge now that we are sinners, and we don't need to compare us with others, placing us on a pedestal, placing us above them, believing that we are better than others. No, we are sinners, we are broken, and we need Christ to redeem us. The second thing that God hates. Now, we are still in His office now, and God is examining our tongue. How is our tongue? How is our mouth? Well, He hates a lying tongue. What's so dangerous with the lying tongue? Do you know that our brain, the way that our brain is designed, our brain cannot function, cannot tolerate lies. Do you know that? Every time when we say a lie, the brain knows that is a lie. We know that is a lie. We are not naturally born with the ability to lie. Like we lie and we don't even realize that we lie. No, when we lie, we know that we lie initially. And our brain, as I told you, cannot tolerate lies. Our brain cannot stay in balance when we put lies there, when we say untruthful things. But the only way that the brain can survive, can cope with this situation, is that the brain treats that lie like a truth. And this is how the brain can continue to function. When you say something, the brain is going to register that lie as a truth. And guess what happened? Lie after lie and after lie. What's going to happen with the brain? That measuring system, that measuring instrument that tells you what's right and what's wrong, what is true and what is lie, it's going to be disturbed, and it's no longer making a difference between lies and truth. Well, this is one of the dangers when people lie. They are going to end up believing their own lies. You're going to believe what you say. One day I was building a wall in my house. And After I finished, I looked at that wall and I said, that wall looks crooked, man. It's not supposed like this. It's really crooked. I said, let me check it again. I took the level, and I put the level against the wall, and the level looked perfect. I said, maybe I don't see it well. And I asked somebody, well, will you take a look at that wall? Don't you see that it's crooked? Yes. They said, well, it's pretty obvious that wall is crooked. But look here. I put the level against the wall, and the level showed that that wall was perfectly straight. Wow, there is something, there is a dilemma. So let me check another level, another instrument. And when I checked with another instrument, with another level, what I discovered was that the instrument that I was using originally, that level, was damaged. That measuring device there, that air bubble there, the whole thing was abused by somebody and was rotated, so the level, instead of showing me what's right, well, it showed me that it's right when in reality it was not right. That level was lying to me because, the instrument has been damaged. This is what we do to our brain. When we lie, we abuse this measuring instrument in our brain that we will no longer be able to recognize what's truth and what's not truth. And Satan likes this because Satan is the father of what?
Lies.
Father of lies. This is what he did from the very beginning. This is what he did in the Garden of Eden when he told Adam and Eve, for sure you will never die. Just try and eat from this. From this tree that God told you not to eat. Well, let's move to the third thing. The physician is going to examine our hands now and says that God hates the hands. Those hands that shed innocent blood. You may say, well, I cannot be guilty of this because, well, I don't take anyone's life. I don't shed innocent blood. Do you know that we can kill in many ways, not necessarily with a knife and with a gun? We can kill somebody with our words, with our attitude, with our look, with our unhealthy habits and lifestyle. That is also ways to which the way we teach our kids to do unhealthy stuff. We also are responsible for an innocent blood. But even more than that, why this is so dangerous, especially for that culture when Solomon wrote that. Killing somebody was an ordinary thing. People were just killing each other like we kill mosquitoes today. Well, they don't care so much about taking someone's life. I remember one day in our place here, we ended up with many roosters. We ended up with 5 hens and 5 roosters, which is kind of a lot. Although it may sound biblical from a marriage perspective, but it doesn't work with roosters. Always those fights there among those 5 roosters. And we decided to get rid of some of those. And what was my responsibility to just kill 4 of those 5? I could not do that. I told my wife, I'm not going to do this. I love those roosters so much. They look so good, so nice. They are just following me because I was their protector. I was feeding them. I was protecting them from hawks and from wild animals and from whatever predators they had there. And now, to just kill them, I couldn't feel like doing that. And I called my neighbor and said, well, please let me kill these roosters for me. And he said, no problem, I will do this. But you just catch them and hand those to me. You know, I was just calling those roosters, and they came to me like, you know, they trusted me. They thought that I would be their protector. And I remember that feeling when I took the rooster who came to me like finding protection and the safety in my hands. And I just handed that to the butcher to be killed. Oh, I felt so bad in my heart. And when the butcher just killed them, I couldn't even look there. I just turned my eyes to the other side and well, just killed all of those roosters. Then I asked this man, I said, well, how do you feel killing this? Because I'm devastated. I cannot take it anymore. You know, I was down for the entire day or week. He said, you know, I don't feel anything. It's just, I feel like when you cut a tomato on your plate, this is how I feel when I do this. Well, I said, oh man, you don't have any compassion. You don't have any compassion. Well, just killing somebody, friends, this is what it does. It desensitizes your heart. And you don't have any compassion. And not even that. But you don't see any meaning in life when we are so willing to take a life. And of course, human beings are much more valuable than roosters or animals. Okay, let's move on with a few more things. Just quickly, let's mention the other few things that are mentioned here. So we examine eyes, tongue, hands. Now look at the heart. A heart that devises wicked plans. Oh, I cannot imagine somebody planning to do evil. I was thinking, just preparing for this message, I was thinking at 9/11, that whoever planned that tragedy, that attack, whoever planned it, I don't want to get into the debate who planned it, but whoever planned it, you know, I imagine that it not just happened. They planned for this. They sat down and they made drawings there, and they made a schedule which time they go, at what height they would hit those buildings, on which side, with what kind of planes, and the damage will be huge. Wow, wicked plans. And we're not exempt from those. Even today, we're targeted by so many, especially on the virtual world. Well, there are so many predators, online predators that want to just, well, they develop those wicked plans to destroy the lives of young girls and young boys, just pretending that they are their friends there. Well, please never accept friendship online with strange people that you do not know, because you have no idea who is behind that. God hates those who create, who devise those wicked plans. Next, God hates those feet that run to evil. But walking, you may not even plan it, but you walk and you are participating with those who are doing those evil acts. And the next thing is false witnessing. When you say something against your brother, when you say something that is not true, that your fellow brother and sister may suffer from that. And lastly, a spirit of discord that creates disunity and harmony. Well, folks, we don't have time to get into all those details, but what all of these 7 things have in common? I want you to find a common denominator with all of these 7 things. Yes, Satan is, that proud look, that lying tongue, those hands that are just shed innocent blood, those, well,
heart devises wicked plans, and feet that run to evil, and false witnessing, and the spirit of discord. Well, all of those, what they have in common is that whoever commits this, they do not need God. And this is why God hates the most. It's not because God chose to hate this, because he doesn't like this. No, because those sins are so, those attitudes, I should say, are so dangerous. When somebody says, I do not need God because I am good. I do not need God. I can say whatever I want because there is no God. I can take anyone's life because life has no meaning. So if God has no meaning, there is no God behind anything. So all of those have this, there is no need for God. And when you say that there is no need for God, God cannot do anything for you. You are just cutting your only source of security and strength. You are eliminating your only solution to your problem. When I was young, in my yard, I had lots of cherry trees. And the cherry trees in my country are really tall trees. I remember climbing in those cherry trees, branch after branch. I was just standing on top of the last branch there. It was so high there that I could see the buildings in the next city. What about if I would have said to myself, I don't think that I like this branch that is under my feet. This branch is kind of bothering me. What about if I take a saw and cut that branch that is under my feet? Well, there is no sense of doing this. This is what all of these sins lead us to. Lead us to cut a branch that we are sitting on. Committing those sins, we say, there is no God. I don't need any God. I don't need any branch under my feet to bother me. I'm just going to take it away from there. This is why God says, I hate those. Not because He chose to hate those, but I am so worried about you. If you do this, there is nothing I can do for you. Because you do not have any need for me. I am not needed in your life. And if you don't need a doctor, then you will not find a solution to your problem. If we do not need God, if we don't have that need for God, our problems will never be solved, my friends. Look what Christ did. I'm going to conclude with this. He turned this paradigm. Although He was God, He humbled Himself. Instead of exalting Himself, He could have said, I am God. Guys, you are like mosquitoes here. I am God. Although He was God, He didn't look to us from up down. He humbled Himself to the point of death, even death on the cross, says Paul in Philippians. Secondly, He changed the lying attitude into a truthfulness. He said, I am the way, I am the life, I am the truth. This is who I am. Instead of killing us, He turned those hands who could have killed us, and God had all the rights to kill us. We were His enemies, but instead of destroying us, He let His hands to be pierced on the cross of Calvary. Instead of murdering, He turned that murder into being murdered by us. Talking about hearts that devise, that creates wicked plans, God Himself created another plan called the plan of salvation. And instead of those feet who are running towards evil, Jesus' feet walked from city to city to heal. I like what one boy said when his teacher asked, where have you been this weekend? He said, I went to that building in town that has the plus sign on its roof. Indeed, gracious Father, this is our prayer this morning, that we want to be genuine Christian, not fake ones. We want to have your heart in us, and you have promised us that you are going to give us a new heart, and we are claiming that this promise will be fulfilled in our lives. Lord, we give ourselves to you. Please examine us and help us to accept our condition and to seek for the right treatment. And Lord, you are our solution. We give ourselves to you. Please model us, heal us, transform us. That one day we'll be with you in your kingdom, being in that heavenly place where there will be no more tragedies, no more death, no more separation, no more discord, and unity and happiness and love forever and ever. This is our prayer in Jesus' name. Amen.
Amen.